It keeps getting worse for Disney, no matter what they do, and this move is one of their most desperate.
The following is a world-class Bullshitters exclusive.
The Walt Disney Company is one of the biggest entertainment companies in history. For generations, Disney films have brought in big money. The theme parks are the stuff of dreams, and at one point, everything they touched turned to gold. However, in recent times, things have been difficult for the Disney brand, and things keep getting worse. The deluge of subpar content and terrible decisions have turned off audiences, and now the theme parks aren't bringing in the guaranteed money that allowed Disney carte blanche. Simply put, all of their bad decisions are coming back to bite them in the ass. But before we get into that, today's video is brought to you by us here at shopwcbs.com. It's summertime, it's getting hotter, but you have to wear something out in public, so why not wear something with style and class? World class, that is. So go to shopwcbs.com and get yourself an official WCBS t-shirt. There are dozens of choices designed by me, and all of our shirts are shipped and printed through Teespring, so you get their customer service, support, as well as the high quality each of their t-shirt carries. So go to shopwcbs.com right now to grab one of those, and since it's summer and it's so damn hot out, you might want something cool to drink. So why not drink that cool beverage out of an official WCBS pint glass? When you do, you'll become the 5th bullshitter. You can crack a cold one with us and spend your summer watching all the new world-class bullshitters content coming your way, including the return of good morning pop culture. So folks, you can click on those links below, get yourself an official WCBS piece of glassware, wear the t-shirt, and hang out with us all summer long. And now, Disney is slowing down when it comes to making movies and TV series for its Marvel Studios and Lucasfilm franchises. CEO Bob Iger said on CNBC Thursday. The move comes as the company is still looking to cut costs at a time when its recent films from Marvel to animation have underwhelmed at the box office. That's putting it lightly. You'll pull back not just to focus, but also as part of our cost containment initiative, spending less on what we make and making less, Iger said Thursday. Earlier this year, Disney rolled out a broad reorganization of the business that included $5.5 billion in cutting close, which $3 billion would be slashed from content, excluding sports. Iger said Thursday that a lot of decisions were made to prop up the company's flagship streaming service, Disney Plus, and beckon more customers. While also noting that Disney had some Pixar animation misses in the recent months, he calls out Marvel for being a particular example of the company's zeal to pump up its original content on streaming. Marvel is a great example of that. It had not been in the television business at any great significant level, and not only did they increase their movie output, but they ended up making a number of TV series, said Iger. Frankly, it diluted the focus and attention. Disney acquired Marvel for more than $4 billion in 2009, and the franchise has since grossed billions of dollars at the global box office for the company. Earlier this year, Iger said that the company needed to assess how many sequels each character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe should spur, and whether it was time to explore the newness of the brand. He added that nothing in any way is inherently off in terms of the Marvel brand at any investor conference. Earlier this year, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania debuted as the 31st film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, kicking off the 5th phase of the 15-year-old franchise. The film had seen the sharpest decline in ticket sales from opening weekend to second weekend in franchise history. The Marvel installment also raked in mixed to negative reviews. Meanwhile, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 has done much better. On the Lucasfilm front, there hasn't been a Star Wars film in theaters since 2019, and the company has focused primarily on series such as the Emmy-nominated Andor and Obi-Wan Kenobi for Disney+. Lucasfilm's Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, the 5th film of the franchise, has underwhelmed at the box office despite a plum release date around the 4th of July. Still, similar to Marvel, Lucasfilm has been provided a well of revenue for Disney. The company bought Lucasfilm in 2012 for $4 billion and recouped its investment just 6 years after the lucrative new trilogy of films, along with standalone films such as Rogue One. Interesting how they leave out Solo: A Star Wars Story, which was a big ol' flop. For Disney, most of its streaming competitors, original content has lived solely on its flagship streaming services rather than being licensed to other platforms, a revenue driver that still stood up in the traditional TV and movie business for some time. On Thursday, Iger said it was a possibility that could happen to Disney's streaming content. It's possible, I won't rule it out, Iger said. He added that licensing has been a part of a collection of models that formed the traditional TV business, and holding back content for their own platform in the early days of streaming was the right move. Recently, Warner Bros. Discovery has reportedly been in talks about licensing HBO content to other platforms, including Netflix, and licensed it to free ad-supported streaming platforms such as Fox Corp's Tubi. Disney has also followed suit in taking down content from its own streaming platform, such as Willow and the Mighty Ducks. Well, things don't sound too good for Disney+. Could it be dead? Who knows? Now, it's not new to see the same movies across different streaming platforms. You can find Spider-Man a few places or catch the Avengers on Prime as well as Disney+, but talking about it publicly doesn't show Disney has a lot of trust in Disney Plus anymore. The meat of this story is cutting back. Disney should have slowed down Marvel and Star Wars content a few years ago. Over the last few years, the brand has been damaged so bad that Jonathan Frakes won't even believe it, with many claiming superhero fatigue is not only real, but it's very much here. It's nice to hear Iger specifically mention Marvel and Star Wars because it's difficult to sit through these things. I've given up on Secret Invasion. I won't finish the show. Yes, I wish it was more like the comic, but the MCU has worn out its welcome. The start of Phase 4 was rough and it turned a lot of people off to the brand. It wasn't just hardcore fans, everyone has written off Marvel. The merchandise goes directly to clearance, and there is word that production of Disney merchandise is going to be slashed by 25% since the demand is just not there, and that's a reflection of the poor content coming out of Disney. Marvel used to mean something. It was something to get excited over. Getting subpar TV shows every few months hurts the brand. For as boring as shows like Secret Invasion are, other more damaging shows like She-Hulk get promoted to high heaven, yet fail to succeed. Marvel has spent a decade pushing Miss Marvel on audiences, and that hasn't worked. Her upcoming big screen adventure with Captain Marvel and the Other Woman isn't going to move the needle. No matter how hard feminist websites and weak men like to yell on Twitter, it's all bad content. Hopefully Disney realizes what the bad parts are, and they go back to formula. Imagine if the resources spent on diversifying the brand was spent on making a Spider-Man TV show or something people would actually watch. That would be a novel concept, making things audiences want. It's interesting to hear how Disney recouped its Lucasfilm investment in 6 years, but what's the profit on that? Bob Iger's mantra is profitability, but Lucasfilm keeps making things that aren't profitable. The upcoming slate of Star Wars looks like a failure waiting to happen, if it ever does. Over 16 films have been announced that have not come to fruition. The things that do make it far along are made by the wrong people. They shouldn't be making Star Wars properties that won't appeal to fans because no one's gonna pay to watch The Acolyte. No one paid for The High Republic, it's a flop, yet they put $1 billion behind the marketing campaign. Indiana Jones is on track to be the most expensive flop in history. At over $300 million, the film needs nearly $800 million to break even. It's barely a quarter of the way there, and the competition has already overtaken it. It looks like Barbie will make more money than Indy, and that's gotta sting. For Iger to focus on profit, they have to be very careful with what they produce. Films just breaking even isn't enough. Audiences don't care about live-action remakes that palette swap a character. Audiences don't care about the politics of the creators. Audiences only care about interesting films that don't have laughable effects, and they need to have good stories above all else. The big question here is, what does this all mean for future shows? Marvel is locked into their road to the Avengers, but will Disney cut that? Can the next Avengers do Endgame levels of business, and will Disney take that gamble? One could argue that greed got them here, with the hopes of cutting out theaters and anyone else involved, making everything exclusive to Disney+. Marvel could make more money for Disney that way. It turns out, that wasn't the case. Lucasfilm is a different story. There was so much planned for Disney+, but now there's a built-in excuse for not producing what's been announced. Will that affect this new trilogy? We'll talk about all of that in an upcoming video, so make sure you're subscribed to this channel for more. For now, it's good to know that Disney has to make a change. The company thought wants to be too big to fail has to take a step back, and I hope it's a win for audiences across the board. So folks, what do you think of this news? Tell me down below. I'm not surprised, but I'm surprised that they specifically mentioned Star Wars and Marvel, because us Star Wars and Marvel fans, we're tired of the crap. It's not good. This is their way of saying we've made too much and we're going to pull it back, and hopefully we make the stuff that people like. I know that's what I'm wanting them to do. Make the stuff that people like. I love comics. I love Star Wars. I love all of these things. But not the way it is right now. A film like Thor: Love and Thunder, that was a hokey piece of shit. They've even admitted, we went too far with the jokes. Reel it in. Make Kevin Feige accountable. Stop doing all this dumb crap. I know in the past he's made tons of money for the studio and produced great films, but that was 5 years ago. It's time to move on. They haven't made anything decent since, well, I guess Endgame, and the best thing to come out since then is a Sony movie. But like I said, that's going to be a topic for its own video. So folks, like I said, let me know what you think down in the comments below. Make sure you check out our live streams, make sure you hit that thumbs up button to let YouTube know you enjoy this content, and welcome to 190,000 subscribers. We're on our way to 200,000, where we're #building a better bullshitters each and every day. So thank you for watching, folks. I'll be back next time with more, but in the meantime, be smart, be safe, be cool, but always be excellent to each other. Thanks for watching today's video. Yes, it's over, but don't cry because there's more, a lot more from World Class Bullshitters, and there's only one way to get it. hit that subscribe button below. When you do that, you'll get notifications and updates from World Class Bullshitters every time we go live. Basically, you won't miss anything. And if there's one thing I hate, it's FOMO. But the thing most people hate more than FOMO is fear of missing out on World Class Bullshitters, because there's just some things you can't undo. So folks, do yourselves a favor and never miss anything from World Class Bullshitters. One last thing before you go, hit the thumbs up button. Not for our egos, no, they're big enough as this, but it does help us fight the algorithm here, and well, it's man versus machine, and that's the real fight. But if that's not your battle, that's okay. There's one last way you can help WCBS, and that's going over to shopwcbs.com, picking up a t-shirt, a beer glass, a sweatshirt, a poster, all sorts of ways to back WCBS. The difference between us and other YouTube channels is I'm the artist that makes all this stuff, so if you enjoy art beyond t-shirts, you can even read our comic books. We got it all. We're called the epitome of pop culture for a reason, and no, again, it's not for our egos. So folks, make sure you're involved with every aspect of World Class Bullshitters, not just for us, but do it for yourself. We're making the change in entertainment everybody out there wants to see. And a special thank you goes out to all of our wonderful patrons who make this content possible. Go to patreon.com/worldclassbs to get involved and help out the channel.